on me.
Honey, thank you for agreeing to do this with me.
No problem. It's okay.
And I know you don't talk about this with a lot of people, but I think it's really important that we talk about your experiences.
No, yeah, I think it's important because not only the stigma behind lots of things that I went through and lots of things that happened, things around mental health and misinformation, but also, I mean, I think the body is very strong if you give it, especially with my story, if you give your body the right nutrients, and you can get through everything. And I think I've had so many like near-death experiences, and yeah, I think the fact that you can just like cure your body through what you put into it, it's very simple.
When was it hard? Do we want to talk about how school was when you were a kid?
Yeah.
So you had difficulties concentrating. Your teachers were saying you didn't do your homework.
Yeah, I didn't do. No, I remember not being able to concentrate or just not feeling like it. I wasn't really a very studious. Was not like you. Was not very studious at all. I was more of a. We always talked about it as like your head in the clouds, or I was always, the fairy little girl, very, but distracted also. I wasn't thinking about what I did in class. But I remember I did have those problems with energy.
Yeah.
Like a big thing was also I couldn't listen.
Didn't have the energy to listen.
I didn't have the energy. I just didn't, like at a certain point in the day, I would just kind of crash, like at a very young age. I remember, and we used to get those protein bars. I remember we tried so many to get the right one, and then we finally found this like barbecue meat one that I really liked. And I remember we used to get that. And then also with my brother, like he would get them too. He didn't have the same problems, but we all had to have a treat if I was gonna have a treat. So yeah, that was like the earliest thing that, physically was kind of an issue. It didn't seem that severe though.
Yeah. Well, it did become severe later when you kind of had to drop out because you didn't, your grades were at one point, we thought about other kinds of schooling and things like
yeah,
that.
that's true. When we had to think about, when you were telling me about
School Without Walls.
Yeah, school. I remember that.
Yeah, but before that, you were diagnosed by your pediatrician with ADHD, and I was very skeptical. And I think we tried the Ritalin for a week, and it didn't help. And I was so loath to give you any medication, so we just stopped. But when you were around, 11 or 12, you asked to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah. I remember that. I don't really remember the Ritalin and stuff, but I remember the psychiatrist.
So when did you get your period?
I think around 13.
Yeah, okay. So
it was.
Yeah, so we went to Ireland when you were how old?
Oh, yeah, when I was 13.
Exactly, and that's when you, at the end of the trip, Lauren and I went to Ireland for this, looking for fairies and
we went looking for
Celtic
fairies.
Things, and I remember the last night when the day before we were going to fly out, you basically told me you wanted to go on antidepressants.
It was I always feel bad. I wish, that's why we have to go back.
Feel bad.
No, that's why we have to go back, because I kind of ruined the trip. As I was a kid, but we could have had so much fun, and it was fun. It was beautiful, but I remember this one night when there was Irish dancing, and you wanted to go Irish dancing, and of course we wanted to, but I wanted to listen to music. Yeah. But and we always loved Irish music. I still love it. But yeah, I didn't have the energy. I was kind of just like,
Were you
teen
insecure?
angsty. I was insecure. I was moody. I was just very, I was like an angsty teen at that point. And I think that was also at a time when it was it was very glamorized and romanticized being. There were all the movies about like teen depression. I remember like Donnie Darko, the Virgin Suicides. So it was kind of that, you know, that 2000s angsty. Wait, what year was it? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, it was that Igby Goes Down.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
cool
God,
to be like depressed and this like the sad girl aesthetic that I think now maybe on the internet they have a ton. The whole. It was. I remember also I just had friends who. Everyone was on meds. Everyone. Well, all the girls were.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and so I can't remember because I didn't want you to take them. So you saw I remember speaking with your psychiatrist who couldn't tell me what, you know, she basically said, I can't divulge anything, but.
When I ran away, right? When you called her?
Yeah, you ran away to New York.
To New York, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Talk about that for a minute.
Well, honestly, it sounds worse than it was.
You had a relative, right?
I had a relative. Like, I think from one side, because I didn't tell... it wasn't really run away. I think it was like... it was like rebellion.
And you were 13.
I was 13, and I was not doing good in school. I went to the singing school because I wanted to be, even though I was angsty, I was in this like...
You were in the choir.
I was in the gospel choir,
You did amazing stuff.
But I was very insecure and shy, and I remember that one interview and I started crying. So public speaking wasn't that good. So singing also, you know, I could only sing in my room, so that whole thing.
Well, you did perform at the church.
At the like Christmas thing, yeah. Yeah, but that was that one thing I didn't want to do, that kind of. But
So running away, I remember.
No,
looking for you at school. And
oh yeah, but that was skipping. Everybody was skipping.
No, looking for you at school.
Yeah. I mean, it's not funny.
Up okay.
And well, of course it's okay. I remember on the way when Claire, when her and her mom like came to get us at the police agency.
So it was your friend?
With Claire, with my friend. And I remember she had like the air conditioning. It was so cold, but I remember her mom had like the air conditioning on purpose
and
to like punish us.
She went to get you in New York.
Yeah, she went to come get us. And that was just like dumb. One of those things that to do, I guess.
Okay. And then so then we moved.
Yeah, but that was a big thing actually because I think even though there were all these things, I think you told us early in the year. Mm-hmm. I think also when I had first kind of started at Duke Ellington, at the music school, that we were going to move to Italy, which is like a big thing because also like in adolescence, right at the beginning. So that was a big thing. That was kind of destabilizing, maybe.
When you got your period, did you have any issues, any menstrual issues, cramps, and things like that?
No, I never had cramps. No, to this day, I don't have cramps.
You never had over.
No, I never had anything like acne. I didn't have. Honestly, physically from after my period. No, apart from like fatigue and like things that maybe more brain, but no.
Okay.
I think I gained a little weight. I started gaining some weight.
Yeah, I remember when you went, but that was in Italy. So we went to Italy, and then you went on the pill.
Yeah.
And you gained weight, and then you went off the pill.
Yeah. So
I didn't want you on the pill.
But that was like 15, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I started, you know, kind of more fixating on like food, not food, weight. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I got like bulimic, basically binging and then like throwing up.
And didn't your friend also?
No, actually, she was just really thin because she was anemic, didn't eat meat, And
she's actually hypothyroid now. We know.
oh,
that.
she is.
Yeah.
She is, and she actually now has a problem where she can't lose weight. So she was very skinny, because she just ate vegetables and never any meat. Always had problems with migraines, and I think it's interesting that you thought maybe she had gotten me into that. No, she actually helped me because I had the overeating. That's when I started to really or not eat or just like overeat and then like feel guilty about it. So when we would have those weird trips, or we started to get into trouble together too. But she would portion. She would try to portion my sizes, so I would feel less like guilty about what I was eating.
Okay. And then around that time, because I was very much concerned about how you were doing, so because I didn't want you to take the pill, and I also knew obviously that you were going to have relationships, we went down to the National Health Gynecological Service, and I asked that you be measured for a diaphragm, and they basically laughed us out of there. So they basically said, nobody gets diaphragms, just give her the pill.
Well,
and with all the side effects that I know come from contraceptive pills, I was very, very angry.
Well, but now you know that they can be really bitchy anyway. Like, right? Sorry, with that assessment. Like, a lot of people in healthcare, now I work in healthcare, there can be some class A,
well, yeah,
Bs.
you work in healthcare,
B words.
So your colleagues. But,
yeah.
All right, so when we were living up in Valebona, just in a
small little town.
Like 10 minutes away from the coast, so it wasn't far.
Yeah, still so tiny. Culture shock when we came, because we came from DC and like big cities. And I remember we were in the main town, and I thought that was the smallest. I thought it was like a suburb, and you said, no, this is the center. And I was like, ah.
Yeah, well, the plan was always to move to another place. But yeah, so the alerts for me as a parent, and Pierre started when what they have in the little towns, they have these sagre, and so
festivals.
It's a festival for that town. And Lauren went to one with a friend.
A group of like conoscenti, just like people I knew.
You know. Right. Mm-hmm. And the cops called us in the middle of the night to let us know that you'd been picked up, passed out. So we'll talk about the drinking culture.
Well, the drinking culture, I think, okay, so we moved here, and because not a lot of people spoke good English, and my Italian wasn't that good, I think, you start going out more and maybe drinking more to have more of a connection, or feel like you have more of a connection with people.
Insecurity really is a driving
but
force.
also I'm not an extrovert person. Like, even now, I can talk to one person at a time, sometimes two, you know? But, yeah, I know. But like, when you come to like a new country, new town, I mean, obviously in your teenage years, you want like friends, you want somebody to talk to. And I think I was desperately looking for that. But I didn't feel like, I started to feel very disconnected in general. Like, I felt so disconnected for a long time. And I think the drinking, it made me feel part of I was part of the group. So, and then it made other people happy too. If I was drinking, it was kind of like everybody, yay. And drinking culture is big. They start much younger here. I mean, no, they do in the U.S. too, but it's not legal. Like, you have house parties in the U.S. Here, you can go out at 13 and start drinking. And, you can go to a bar. And so it's just much easier. At these festivals, and then, like, maybe in the States, you have pre-gaming, which is drinking before the party. Obviously here too, before you go to a festival, on the way, you drink, and I was pretty lightweight, and I think I would just I didn't know. So I think I would always kind of, like I binge ate, I binge drank. So that led to lots of passing out.
Right.
And my friends who weren't friends were there, but nobody really acknowledged me. So,
No, but
which
then-
is sad too.
Yeah, well.
So
you know.
because they told me, they were like, we asked people, are you with her? And they were like, no, we don't know her. So, you know, you get taken to this place, you know, SPDT.
The psych ward. or
Yeah,
hospital.
a psych ward, you know. They take you there because they don't.
Then the parents come get you the next
And the
day.
parents come back, yeah. And it actually, like I told you, it happens actually more common than one may think.
Here.
Yeah.
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 And then when did you start seeing the psychiatrist, Cholet? Because you were, I remember you calling me and you were scared because the bulimia really took off and you were scared.
Was it Cholet who first, was that
He
before?
sent you to the
Oh,
to
really?
Florence.
Oh. Well, you have the like national, what is it, like?
National Health Service.
Yeah. I think we went to one, and then when you describe the problems I was having, I think especially when you've been like ricoverata, when you've been into like taken to the
rehab,
hospital.
yeah.
Well, that's not rehab. That's
No.
just like hospital.
Right.
In the psych ward, even though it's like for different, you know, it's also for people who are getting off of maybe like out of a coma.
Yeah. And dementia.
Which also happened. Yes.
So we took you to see a psychiatrist,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually, and your bulimia was scary, right? And scary
Yeah.
to you too.
I mean, I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of weight, and then
But your esophagus was bleeding. Remember?
oh, yeah,
Call me about that.
but
Right. So then you were Cholet, the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
You were sent to this rehab in Florence, right?
oh yeah, I remember when we went there. Yeah, that's where they diagnosed me with BPD.
Borderline personality
Yeah.
disorder. So you saw a therapist or a psychiatrist during your stay there, right?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, it's a clinic, but it wasn't only for eating disorders. There's like one separate part that I think I went at the beginning that was strictly for anorexia and bulimia, well, eating disorders, and then there was the main part, which was, you know, just like a clinic for all kinds of different things. But the eating disorder girls were separated.
And did you make friends there? You kind of, I remember you learned other ways.
Friends? No. Okay, so I've been to so many of these places. So, but friends, no. It was very strange. I think with the girls with the eating disorder, like reparto, like
Section,
ward
department,
section, the girls were very like competitive. It was very competitive. It was strange. I do remember this one lady who was, I don't know if she was in her 40s, 50s. I mean, I was 18. I remember at one point, like after a month or two, she was really happy. She was like, you know, you're skinnier. Are you happy? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. But I remember but these women were like just bone. It was, I wasn't at that point, but I did learn a lot of tricks of the trade. Yeah. Well, I mean, like
Tricks to throw up.
Well, no, not tricks to throw up, like throwing up after when you know how to do it. You make yourself nauseous, kind of, you don't.
You make it into a reflex.
Yeah, it's like a reflex. But we did, like, you did have to, you were watched. There were like cameras when it was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we would have like we would like hide in our boots, and we would like wear these big sweatshirts to like put it in our sleeves, the food. So.
Wow, I remember we came for Christmas to visit you, and you went to the bathroom, and I was freaked out.
Oh yeah, I mean, then now you're always triggered. You were always triggered when I went to the bathroom.
Yeah, well, not now.
Yeah, no, not now. But when I would go to the bathroom with like my big bag, my mom was always. You were always like suspicious.
Oh, actually, after a few of these places, we tried to keep you. We tried not to have you go to one that was really restricted. And I remember you climbing over a wall and running away.
I climbed over every wall and I always ran away. So, I mean, it was very hard to keep me put. And that's why, you know, I also got kicked out of one, because you're not supposed to kick people out, but I kept running away. They used to say I only went there occasionally for sleeping. And I was put on so much medication.
Yeah,
so much medication.
Antidepressants.
Antipsychotics, tons of benzos. And all the other people, like you talked about, if I made friends there, they were very out of it. They were given the girls more. Like, I mean, I don't want to say that because
the males, yes.
I mean, there are a few males who, you know, you could see they were just like slobbering all over the place. I mean, I've seen a few of the girls now, and they're in like community homes. You know, they can't work. I think also when I see people who helped me, like some doctors and stuff, and they see me today, they're very happy because most of the people who went through those things like I did, they can't live by themselves right now. I mean,
assisted living.
Yeah, you can't get a job. And it's very sad. Like, it's very hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that chemical straitjacket. That's why finally, I went back to school and I started studying about ketosis, and I remembered from my mother some of the symptoms that you shared with her, and she had Hashimoto's, so I made them at that community, the last one you were in, test your thyroid levels and test to see if you had positive antibodies and an ultrasound. So I made them do it, and all tests came back positive, that you did have positive antibodies, you had a thyroid nodule, and then you came home, right?
Yeah.
And you were in withdrawal from all those medications. So you were on very, very powerful psychotic medications, right? Mm-hmm. But you also got involved in substance abuse, which kind of goes with the territory with some of the people you were staying with, right?
Yeah. But then, I mean, when I did come home, I didn't tell you those other substances though, and I remember you giving me tons of butter and like tons of fat and meat, and you just kept giving it to me, and I felt really bad. I didn't want to tell you, but I think I got better really fast. Like, it went away, the symptoms. I mean, like the aching, pains, and
withdrawal.
It was actually very fast. And like, if I talk about, it's very cool. I mean, it's amazing how you just like kept like feeding me, and you kind of just like.
I was trying to calm you. I was trying to balance your blood sugar, because I know that those substances, drugs and medications, create an imbalanced blood sugar, which causes craziness, right? It causes hangriness, it causes irregular cortisol levels, and that's also when you went on, they tried to put you on levothyroxine, and I said no, and you started taking NDT.
Yeah.
And you still take it today.
And I still take it today.
Yeah.
Wait, so you wanted to talk about borderline. I think with borderline, that is annoying. I know a lot of people now make it their like kind of entire personality, even though it's a personality disorder.
Right.
But I think basically that diagnosis was always given when you had like a handful of like what's that, comportamentale? I can't even think of it. Behavioral issues. With substance abuse, like eating disorders, lots of different. I don't know. There are a lot of different
symptoms.
A lot of different symptoms. Yes,
right.
Of course.
Right.
But I think when you give your body the right nutrients, and you don't think of it as like. I mean, now I live in Italy. I think everyone romanticizes food culture here, and the food is amazing. Of course, it tastes very good. But then you have to think of maybe how you feel after. Like, I don't know, diarrhea or bloating and all those kinds of things. And so something can taste great, but you get to a point where, I mean, you think of food as fuel, like just for your body to work well. And like now, after going through so many years of what I went through, now I like having fun and doing things that don't involve me having to consume something. Like I don't need to consume something to have a great day, to do something that makes me feel good. You know, exercise, like go out with friends, just do any kind of thing. Also just be alone with myself. Like I used to not be able to be alone with myself. Wow. But now little things are fun. And I think that so many people want a diagnosis to maybe belong, to maybe feel, give meaning to their life.
Suffering.
To their suffering, yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to give meaning to their suffering, but it's not a flex. I think when you go through years and years, and I basically lost like more than 10 years of my life, which I don't like to say it like that, but I was not present. And now, you know, you can have a great time every day, and life should be like light and fun, and I'm very happy.
There are hard times.
Of course, there are hard times for everybody.
Sure.
I mean, you have to deal with other people. Life is hard. Things are expensive. Having like a job is not. Nobody wants to work all the time. Like I would love to just like do whatever I want all day, but you know, I work to live better. But also, you know, if you do something, I also like what I do. I like working in healthcare. I like helping people. It makes me happy to see other people happy. And that's what you're like too. I mean, I admire you. You do, even like when you make videos and stuff, I know you do it to help people. Like I think that's great. I think those are like small satisfactions, and that gives life meaning.
Well, I remember when you were really little, and that school where Josette, everybody always said you're very sweet and very kind, and the concentration part didn't matter until you got older, right?
Oh, yeah.
You never had behavioral issues, acting out, that kind of stuff.
Well, nobody wants the sweet little, when you're older, you know, I think it's so, but that's why also life is hard because, you know, you have all these pressures from society. I mean,
right.
Life is hard because of, you know, the conditioning, the pressures, like what it's supposed to be like, what your life is supposed to look like. And
well, I remember also when you were in the psych wards, you were so empathetic with the other people there. I remember you would start helping people, right? Other
oh,
people,
yeah.
You would make friendships with these older ladies. And
yeah, I always loved the older ladies.
And you would basically take over for, you know, their care. You were very, very committed to making sure that they were okay, you know?
Yeah, because, you know, I always, you know, I don't know. I like to make people feel good and smile. And I mean, I remember, now that you said that, I do remember when I was in the psych ward once, there was this old lady who was so mean to everybody. But she would start like screaming in the middle of the night. And I think she would have problems with like maybe she would pee in her pants, or she had problems with her like phlebo, with her
infusion.
And she would be screaming in the middle of the night, and nobody would come help her because maybe she was kind of she wasn't very nice. But also they weren't a lot of maybe people weren't that present, the people that were supposed to be. But and I used to go and help her. Like I think as a daughter, like I see my siblings and they're more contrarian. I think it's just as easy as like eating more fat. And okay, I always take iodine. When I'm sick, I take much more. Like I will go to up to 20 drops when I know I'm getting really sick. Like if I have in the winter, if I start having a sore throat, like I'll up my. But I never had any reaction. to higher doses, so it doesn't make me agitated, even if I take it like later in the afternoon. So, you know, I absorb it pretty well. Lots of fat for sleeping. I mean, I had, you know, insomnia for so long. So I think, and then overthinking, that is something that I've always been really, so. I mean,
fat helps you with that?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
it also just kind of, I mean, if I have this kind of routine to like maybe get something and add like butter or just like a snack like that, it kind of takes my mind off other things, and it also just helps me sleep. And you don't have those cravings. Like a lot of people talk about waking up at 3. I always woke up at 3. But if you, just a good snack. But I don't really wake up at that time anymore.
That's great.
I remember I thought it was normal for me because my dad would always wake up at like 4. But
Well, he had blood sugar issues.
he did have blood sugars. But I mean, I don't sleep a lot. I will wake up by myself at 6. But you know, I sleep pretty like normal, like 7 hours,
Great.
which I think is pretty good.
Yeah. So
And
things-
yeah, lots of meat. I eat meat. Saying that, I think it's very cool that like everything you write is very cool. I mean, not only cool, it's very like on the mark. Like it's exactly, not only for girls, I think in general, also for boys, right? For these books. But the range of topics you cover is very, very interesting, and it's a lot of information, and I think that's pretty amazing. Like when I read it, I think it's crazy that you it's crazy that you wrote it. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I want to thank you for coming today and talking. I mean, on your day off.
On my day off, but I'm coming in a few days for my birthday.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the meat cookies.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna take some with me.
Okay. All right.
That's what mommies are for.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. Well,